deviate from the actual path is textually called refraction. Can there be angle of incidence? No. Can there be angle of refraction? No. Therefore, Snell's law becomes invalid. My belief is that light has to travel straight without any deviation. The refractive index of the medium. So N is called and this phenomenon of bending is what we call refraction of light. Hello students, this is SD Sir again from the Temple of Excellence, Vidhyaashram Pre-University, Mysuru, continuing the session on geometrical optics. In my previous session, I had given a hawk-eye view of the fundamentals of optics, the different terms that are associated with optics. In today's class, we will learn the first beautiful property of light, what is called as refraction of light. So, the property that is discussed in today's class is refraction of light. To begin with, what do we understand by the word refract? The word refract means deviate, or it means go away. It is deviate from the actual path or going away from the actual direction. ರಿಫ್ರಾಕ್ಟ್ ಆಗೋದಂದ್ರೆ ಏನು? ಒಂದು ಯೂನಿಡೈರೆಕ್ಷನಲ್ ಹೋಗ್ತಾ ಇರ್ತೀವಿ, ಡ್ಯೂ ಟು ಸಮ್ ಡಿಸ್ಟ್ರಾಕ್ಷನ್ ವಿ ಆರ್ ಡಿವಿಯೇಟಿಂಗ್ ದಿ ಪಾತ್, and that is what is called as refract. Go away from the actual path, deviate from the actual path is textually called refraction. Now we will understand what is refraction of light. I will consider a parallel sided glass slab. ಒಂದು ಗ್ಲಾಸ್ ಸ್ಲ್ಯಾಬ್ ಕನ್ಸಿಡರ್ ಮಾಡಿದ್ದೀನಿ. ಅದನ್ನ ಪ್ಯಾರಲಲ್ ಸೈಡೆಡ್ ಗ್ಲಾಸ್ ಸ್ಲ್ಯಾಬ್ ಅಂತ ಕರಿತೀವಿ. ಪ್ಯಾರಲಲ್ ಸೈಡೆಡ್ ಬಿಕಾಸ್ ಇಟ್ ಹ್ಯಾಸ್ ಟೂ parallel sides on either end. And the glass slab is surrounded by air, and that air is called the rarer medium. Always understand, air is the rarer medium. And any material medium, as in this case glass, is the denser medium. Air is the rarer medium. Glass slab is the denser medium. And here, AB is called as the interface. I call AB as the interface, a surface which separates the rarer medium and the denser medium. So my considerations are very simple. Parallel-sided glass slab. It is surrounded by air medium, what we call rarer medium. Glass, any material medium, is the denser medium. AB is the interface, a surface which separates the rarer and the denser medium. Now, I draw a normal MN to the surface. Normal andreno, straight line, perpendicular line anta artha. So MN is the normal drawn to the surface. Now follow very carefully. A ray of light PQ is incident on the glass slab. Careful Kelly. PQ is a ray of light incident on the glass slab. It is traveling from air and incident on the glass. Therefore, we say it is traveling from the rarer medium to the denser medium, defining an angle of incidence, what I call as I. So PQ is the incident ray and I is the angle of incidence. Rarer medium in the denser medium travel ಆಗ್ತಿದೆ. Now what do I assume? I assume that light has to travel straight in this glass slab. My belief is that light has to travel straight without any deviation. But when I observe carefully, it is not traveling straight. There is a bend in the direction of light inside the glass slab. Beautiful. ನಾವೇನು ಅನ್ಕೊಂಡಿದ್ವಿ? Light has to travel straight inside the glass slab. But no, when I carefully observe, the ray of light is bent. And this bending of light is what I call as refraction. So I say QR is the refracted ray and it is defining an angle of refraction, what I call as R. So QR is the refracted ray, R is the angle of refraction. Then what is refraction, students? It is a phenomenon of bending of light as it travels from one medium to another. Here light is traveling from rarer medium to denser medium, hence it is getting bent. And this phenomenon of bending is what we call refraction of light. Now the question is, why light bends as it travels from one medium to another? As light travels from one medium to another, there is a change in its speed. Rarer medium, air, light has maximum speed. When it enters any material medium, its speed decreases. And therefore, there is bending of light. Why speed changes? Because of different optical densities. So we say the phenomenon of bending of light as it travels from one medium to another due to the change in its speed is called refraction of light. So dear students, refraction is a beautiful phenomenon of bending of light. When as light travels from one medium to another. Why? Due to a change in its speed. And this phenomenon is called refraction of light. Now, a very important note. If the light travels from rarer medium to denser medium, the refracted ray bends towards the normal. Andre, if you observe, so light is traveling from rarer medium to denser medium. Here it is bending towards the normal. Light bends towards the normal as it travels from rarer medium to denser medium. If the ray travels from denser medium to rarer medium, the refracted ray bends away from the normal. If it is traveling from denser to rarer, glass in the air hodre, denser to rarer, the refracted ray bends away from the normal. Now, this is very important. Something called laws of refraction. The first law. If you observe the diagram, PQ is the incident ray, QR is the refracted ray, and MN is the normal. What can you comment about these three rays? The incident ray, the refracted ray, and the normal, they are all lying in the same plane when or where at the point of incidence, this is the point of incidence. At the point of incidence, the incident ray, the refracted ray, and the normal lie in the same plane. So, the first law says the incident ray, the refracted ray, and the normal at the point of incidence, all of them lie in the same plane. And the second one is called the golden law of refraction. A very, very important law, probably applied throughout in optics where we study refraction, golden law of refraction, which is called Snell's law. What does Snell's law say? It is defining a ratio. Ratio of what? Ratio of the angle of incidence. So ratio of, I say, the sine of the angle of incidence to the sine of the angle of refraction. He says, consider a ratio which is sine I, sine of the angle of incidence to the sine of the angle of refraction is always a constant. Sine I by sine R is a constant. Continuing further, he says, for any given pair of medium, either light may travel from air to glass slab, from air to water, from air to a solution, or from the glass slab come out to water. Any pair of medium you consider and any wavelength of light you consider, the ratio of sine of the angle of incidence, not simply I, not simply R, it is sine I divided by sine R is constant. So the ratio of the sine of the angle of incidence to the sine of the angle of refraction, considering any pair of medium and any wavelength of light should be a constant. So we write sine I by sine R is a constant, where the constant is called the refractive index of the medium. So N is called the refractive index of the medium. So a very important term, refractive index. So N, the constant of sine I divided by sine R. Refractive index is also C divided by V. What is C? Velocity of light in a given medium. C is velocity of light in free space. V, velocity of light in a given medium. So I can say the ratio of velocity of light in two different mediums is called refractive index. It has no exaggerative meaning. You can also write N is V1 divided by V2. The ratio of velocity of light in two different mediums is called refractive index. Now, when is Snell's law invalid? When will Snell's law fail down? When does Snell's law don't operate? For normal incidence, which means if light is falling on the normal itself, can there be angle of incidence? No. Can there be angle of refraction? No. Therefore, Snell's law becomes invalid. So, Snell's law is not valid for normal incidence. So, students, in today's class, we have beautifully understood a phenomenon called refraction of light, the different phases associated with diffraction and the laws of refraction, through which I have defined a parameter called refractive index. And please to understand, since this is a ratio, refractive index has no unit. In my next class, next session, I will be discussing the two important applications of refraction. One is called normal shift and the other one is called lateral shift. Until there, have a look at this session. Things will become easier then. Have a nice time. Thank you.